Son, I'm Captain Jack Sparrow. Savvy?
When you think of Pirates of the Caribbean, chances are your brain immediately pictures Jack Sparrow, decked out in beads and eyeliner and wobbling his way through every sword fight like it's a joke only he gets. Johnny Depp's wild, unpredictable pirate really became the symbol of the whole franchise. So now that Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is in the works, fans are wondering what happens if Jack Sparrow doesn't return. It's a big question, and funny enough, it might help solve one of the franchise's biggest mysteries. Can these movies actually work without him? Well, let's dive into everything we know about the sixth movie. Here's the thing. Pirates of the Caribbean didn't even start with a big storyline or original idea. It came from a theme park ride. Yup, a literal ride at Disneyland inspired one of the most popular movie series Disney has ever made. But thanks to strong characters and epic storytelling, it quickly became something much bigger than anyone expected. And right in the middle of all that swashbuckling madness was Captain Jack. From the very beginning, Jack wasn't just another character, he stole the spotlight. He was loud, clever, and constantly scheming with that mix of charm and chaos that made him both hilarious and dangerous. Other characters came and went, Elizabeth Swann, Will Turner, but Jack was the glue that held everything together. Even if he wasn't always the one pushing the story forward, his presence was impossible to ignore. But now we're facing a turning point. If Depp doesn't come back, the next movie has to answer a huge question. Can the franchise still sail on without its captain? Let's be real, Jack Sparrow has been at the center of this story for years. His face was on every poster, his voice in every trailer. He's been the constant, the fan favorite. And even though he often played the role of comic relief rather than driving the plot, his energy shaped the entire tone of the films. So taking him out is risky. It's not just losing a character, it's changing the whole vibe. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. Without Jack, the door opens for Pirates 6 to head in a totally new direction. There's room to build new lead characters or expand the roles of the supporting cast. They could even introduce someone fresh to bring a new kind of energy to the series. That said, trying to just plug in a Jack Sparrow copycat probably won't go well. It would just highlight the fact that he's missing and make fans wish he were there even more. Of course, there's a lot of risk in removing the guy who practically is the franchise. Jack brought a kind of whimsy to the story that will be hard to replicate. His mix of madness and genius was uniquely Depp's doing, and it's not something that's easy to bottle up and pass to someone else. Without that signature humor and unpredictability, the series needs to find a new heartbeat. And let's not forget, Depp wasn't just goofing off in these movies, there was real depth there. He brought this strange kind of pain to Jack's character, buried under the jokes and drunken swagger. If Jack's gone, the films will need to figure out a way to carry that complexity forward, just not by trying to recreate what's already been done. Whatever they decide, Pirates 6 is going to shape the future of the franchise. It's in development, and as of now, there's still no official word on whether Johnny Depp is coming back. If he's not, the filmmakers are going to have to address his absence in a way that makes sense within the story. That might even mean writing his character out completely, or, depending on how bold they're feeling, killing him off. That's no small decision. Jack Sparrow isn't just a guy you casually write out of a scene. He's the core of the series. So, the creative team will need to tread carefully. They'll have to build a whole new plot that doesn't just feel like Pirates Light without him. It still has to feel like a Pirates of the Caribbean adventure, otherwise, what's the point? There's a chance this next film acts as a kind of reboot. If that's the route they take, they might be able to distance themselves from Jack a bit more naturally. Maybe even introduce a whole new cast. But again, it's got to feel fresh and exciting, not like a desperate attempt to fill a hole they dug themselves into. Either way, Jack Sparrow's shadow will loom large over Pirates 6, whether or not he actually shows up. It's worth remembering that Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales came out way back in 2017. Since then, there's been a lot of speculation and teasing, but not a lot of movement. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer keeps saying the next movie is happening, and there have been talks of a Margot Robbie-led spin-off too. Disney's been more hush-hush though, and fans are still waiting for something concrete. That last movie, to be honest, didn't do so well. Critics and fans were mostly underwhelmed, and it became clear that the formula was wearing thin. The first film back in 2003 was a surprise hit. No one expected a movie based on a ride to be so good, but it was, and a lot of that came down to Jack Sparrow's fresh and completely off-the-wall presence. He was something new, something wild. But over time, Jack lost some of that magic. After the first film, he slowly turned into a parody of himself. In The Curse of the Black Pearl, he was weird but clever. You believed he could actually outsmart anyone. He was unpredictable, but that's what made him fascinating. As the sequels rolled out, though, Jack started feeling less like a cunning pirate and more like a cartoon character bumbling through every scene. You can see the decline in the reviews too. The Rotten Tomatoes score dropped with almost every new installment, and by the time we got to Dead Men Tell No Tales, Jack was practically a joke. Every reaction was exaggerated, every move slapstick. His cleverness was gone. He was just goofy. So if Depp does come back, something has to change. He can't return as the Jack Sparrow from the last couple of movies. He'd need to go back to that original version. Clever, dangerous, and just mysterious enough to make you second-guess everything he says. That's the Jack people fell in love with, not the one who fumbles through sword fights like he's in a comedy sketch. There might be a way to reintroduce Jack as a mentor figure, maybe someone older, wiser, still sneaky but a bit more grounded. But let's be honest, it might be too late to make that kind of change feel natural. And if it's not done right, it could just make things worse. Which brings us to the big question, does the franchise really need Jack Sparrow at all? At this point, a lot of fans and critics are leaning toward no. As iconic as he is, the character's been stretched pretty thin, and the more the movies try to keep him around, the more it feels like they're just repeating the same ideas. The supernatural plots have gotten more and more complicated, and the spark that made the original movie so special has faded. What the series might actually need is a total reset. Margot Robbie's rumored spin-off could be the best shot at bringing that fresh energy back. She's got a track record of playing eccentric, unpredictable characters, Harley Quinn, Barbie, so it's not hard to imagine her taking on a pirate role that's quirky but in a brand new way. There's also the possibility of revisiting some of the older characters. Maybe Will or Elizabeth could return and step into a bigger role. Or the producers could take a gamble on a completely new ensemble. After more than 2 decades, the Pirates universe has plenty of room to grow beyond Jack. Still, it's hard to ignore just how much he shaped the world of these films. The chemistry between Will, Elizabeth, and Jack gave us some of the most memorable moments in the series. From epic sword fights to goofy lines like, "I've got a jar of dirt," those scenes are burned into fans' memories. So, no matter what happens next, Jack Sparrow will always be a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean legacy. But maybe it's time to let him rest. Whether he sails off into the sunset or goes down with the ship, one thing's for sure, the future of this franchise depends on more than just one pirate. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.